Not all grow tents are created equally. For years, Gorilla Grow Tents has led the industry with what they claim are the tallest, thickest, and strongest grow tents. The 4x4 Gorilla Grow Tent Lite weighs 30 pounds, and with the world's first patent-pending height extension design, this tent can go up to 7 foot 7 inches. YieldLab is a company that has adapted and grown to the needs of indoor growers while providing cost-effective products. The 4x4 tent reaches a height of 6 foot 5 inches and includes many features including ducting ports and vents. Today's video will feature a showdown between these two grow tent icons. These tents will compete in 4 categories: strength, fabric, mylar, and overall price. This information will allow you to make an educated purchase and get the most for your dollar. To measure the strength of the frame, we set up a camera and both tents in a fixed position. We then shook each tent, testing the integrity of the frame. Though this test isn't foolproof, it still stands as a good place of reference for how these tents hold up with a little shake, rattle, and roll. Looking at the video, you can see that both of these tents have strong steel poles that keep the tent structured through any bumps or nudges it may take. Both tents also utilize metal corner pieces, which is a step up from companies that often use plastic. Overall, YieldLab and the Gorilla Lite relatively have the same build. To test the weight capacity of these tents, we decided to have Aaron hang from them and see how much bending and warping would occur. Aaron weighs a solid 145 pounds of pure lean muscle. The Gorilla Lite provides 4 cross poles, so initially we had Aaron hang from the center points. This caused too much weight to be on the center of the poles and they bent. After moving to the YieldLab tent, which provides 3 cross poles, we decided to have him grab onto a more realistic approach. So we had him grab onto these corners, which offer much more support and held his weight well. We then went back to the Gorilla and retested with him holding on to the more supported points. Both tents were then able to hold Aaron's weight of 145 pounds without bending or warping. Again, this isn't the most accurate test for showing the exact weight capacity, but rather gives a reference point. Looking at the strength of these tents, we're going to call this round a draw, as both tents appear to be made with the same poles and withstand the same weight. Examining the fabric of each tent at a glance, you'll quickly notice how the YieldLab has more of a matte finish, while the Gorilla has a little shine to it. Though they may look different, both tents utilize a 210 denier canvas. Denier is a measure of thread, and therefore it is a measure of weave density. The higher the number, the thicker the thread strand. Denser weaves and threads means a more substantial fabric that can cope with the daily wear and tear. Thicker fabric also tends to reduce or block the amount of noise levels traveling through. Noise or sound is measured in a unit called decibels. We set up an inline fan within both tents and measured the decibels at a 5-foot distance. We were surprised to see that YieldLab slightly outperformed the Gorilla Lite. We believe Gorilla had a higher noise level due to its design. The 3-piece design allows lots of room for sound leakage. Also, the larger ducting holes allow more sound to travel through. After running the test twice, YieldLab was quieter, but note this was only by 1.2 decibels. It is very common for grow tents within this price point to emit a few light leaks, especially along the seams. But we wanted to see if there would be a major difference in the amount of leakage. Both appeared normal with a few here and there. However, unrelated to fabric quality, we found that the Gorilla Lite had some major flaws in design. The bottom of the front zipper had a large gap. This allowed a portion of light to fall out of the tent. We also found that the zipper used on the Gorilla allowed a lot of light to bleed through. Lastly, we tested the waterproof quality of the flood tray. We took both trays, filled up the corners with water to see if it would hold or leak. The Yield Lab began to perspirate and leak right away. This is due to the single stitching on the borders. The Gorilla Lite did a phenomenal job because of their design. Instead of stitching pieces together, they used one piece of fabric and folded the corners in a manner that makes pockets without any exposed seams. The Gorilla held water without a single leak. Note, this is an extreme situation test. Though the Yield Lab did have a slightly lower decibel, this round goes to the Gorilla Lite for its superior flood tray.
The inside material of a grow tent is just as important as the outside. Gorilla grow tents report that they use a special diamond reflective mylar on their interior. We decided to measure the reflectivity between the tents. To do so, we placed a par meter at the top of a tent facing down. We did it like this because we wanted to see how much light is reflecting off all four walls and the floor being pushed back up to the top of the tent.
Of all the tests, we were actually pretty surprised by these results. The Yield Lab had an average of 60.5 par, while the Gorilla came in at 55.6. This round goes to Yield Lab for a 5-point average over the Gorilla Lite. Because the two tied on strength, while Yield Lab took Mylar and Gorilla Lite took fabric, this is going to come down to the price point. The base price for the Gorilla Grow Tent Lite 4x4 is $289.99. With the option for a 1-foot extension kit, it comes out to $331.38. The Yield Lab 4x4 grow tent starts at $89.95. Both tents have viewing windows, pouches for holding items, ducting ports, and air ventilation pockets. The Gorilla does, however, have one more ducting port than the Yield Lab. If you think that's worth the added $200, then the Gorilla Grow Tent Lite is for you. But if you're trying to get the best bang for your buck, the Yield Lab is your way to go. It is equivalent, if not better in some aspects, and doesn't take a major chunk out of your wallet. Make sure to check us out on Instagram and Twitter, and as always, like, comment, and subscribe for more in the future. In our next video, we'll be comparing the Advanced Spectrum to the Kind LED. Thanks for watching and stay tuned.